The USAID TradeHub has three overall objectives. The first one is exports from Southern African countries into South Africa. The second objective is increased investment from South Africa into the regional countries neighbouring South Africa. And the third objective is increased exports from South Africa into the US and also from the neighbouring Southern African countries into the US.
One of the very crucial experiences has been the ability to partner across various sectors, bringing opportunities to Southern Africans in various trade fields and industries. This has allowed us to reach out to more people and companies looking to do business in the United States, a country with a vast network of enterprises, which in turn supported and continue to contribute to the goal that the South African Development Community has set out for itself to achieve economic development, alleviate poverty, and improve the quality of life of the people in Southern Africa.
The USAID TradeHub had a hypothesis that by increasing trade into South Africa and to the US, there was going to be an increased demand for capital, and as a result figured that there was a need to create a systemic change in the ecosystem so that the change is sustainable and would outlive the project as a whole.
The successes that I can talk about is that exports from the region to SA, we assisted exports to the value of $47 million US. We've managed to assist firms with investments from the region to South Africa to the value of $207 million US, and exports from the region to the US, we're talking about a value of about $157 million US. The USAID TradeHub, in responding to the challenges that the firms are experiencing, contracted TPSPs to actually assist in identifying firms within the region that need assistance. We then also conducted webinars where we invited buyers, we invited manufacturers to actually come and present, and even e-commerce platforms to come and educate our regional firms on how to actually get into the space of exploring. We furthermore provided grants to firms for certification purposes so that they can qualify to actually be in position to communicate or even create relations with international markets.
We do sustainable, organic, natural certification. And this is where the TradeHub would come in to then support them in terms of this. And then EcoCert's part in the partnership is to make sure that we support them in terms of the technical side, making sure we send auditors out to do the audit, and then to make sure that they are certified at the end for the products.
So we see tremendous movements from US buyers having to shift supply chains, wanting to find sustainable sources. And Southern Africa is a very good alternative to some of the places they're moving away from.
So one of the great things about Southern Africa is that we have a whole lot of natural ingredients that are unique to the region. Stuff like Nara, Moringa, Kalahari melon seed. So within the organic and natural space, that sets us apart. And so within the food and cosmetic sectors, I'd say that's a definite advantage for us. Also, a lot of countries in Southern Africa haven't fallen down the trap of genetically modified crops. And also similarly in those countries, there's a lot of land that hasn't been farmed. So I think there's a definite advantage for our region in terms of organic and natural.
When I see deals happen, it drives me to continue. And it's so exciting because when you see them actually succeed, you know the amount of effect that it's happened. It's not just that company's got a deal. That company, as you say, is supporting so many other people down the line as well, and just helping that economy grow and people livelihoods developing, and there's so much opportunity in Africa.
With the US, for example, it's different from the South African market in the sense that there are different layers before one really gets to the consumer. A buyer would be interested in a product, but they are not involved in the importation. Exporter would need to identify the importer and the distributor before they get to the retailer.
And we've become known as a route to market solution provider. But the problem in that is that we sit here and the manufacturer sits there. And sometimes there's an education gap and a connectivity gap between what we do here and how this market operates and the manufacturers' expectations in Southern Africa. Now, our partnership with the USAID TradeHub has been very good because what they focus on is filling that education gap.
The USAID TradeHub response to the SMEs, the smaller transactions, has been one focused on ensuring that these are linked to the direct trades that we have, where we link an SME to a buyer, and then where the SME then lacks the required financing, then work with our partners.
It's critical. Understanding finances, even something basic like record keeping, understanding how to write financial documents, how to run a cash flow.
There are tools that we have developed, and we are sharing those tools with our partners. There are networks that we have established. We are sharing those networks with our partners. Some of the service providers in different countries, we've introduced them to our partners in the region, which means that they can pitch their services to the partners that are in Southern Africa for business continuity.
We've managed to realize that a lot of work can be done remotely before making the initial contact. And as a result, that has helped expand our reach. We reached a lot more SMEs than we could have reached. And in the process, reduce the cost of providing the advisory support, and then helped us to be able to pick up what are the uniquenesses of the different countries and how could these be presented.
So the objective of ATP was to allow a more efficient process it's within the commodities transaction and increase the probability of a transaction going through.
And we now receive calls for SMEs requesting us to introduce them to advisors to support them prepare their capital requests or to prepare them to present their needs to the market, which from a USAID TradeHub is a significant achievement.
Shouldn't ever go away anywhere. It should never finish, because Africa needs trade, not aid. And that's exactly what the USAID TradeHub is doing. They're giving us the resources to build our own capacity, to make our own income, and to create our own jobs.
There was definitely a need for young SMEs that needed guidance in what they needed to put together to have financial conversations. So we focused on what they would need to go to a capital provider, for instance, but we also focused on terminology that would educate them on the financial concepts and terms that are used.
What we did a little differently is that we worked out that they had their own network, their own cultural understanding, they understood the way about how people think and work, and through their network we went out to identify companies, small businesses, and these are almost micro businesses that fit our mandate.
The trade promotion service providers actually play a crucial role in making that match, whether it's in a face-to-face or hybrid environment. I think the most exciting is when you see the efforts we're making paying off at a community level.
From the Mel Impact Study that we do conduct annually, a lot of things that we came up with, how we have actually assisted them, how firms have actually improved. I mean, I will talk of profitability. A lot of firms are now saying they're seeing profits. And one of the key things that was seen in the last year's survey was the move over from doing things traditionally to moving into a virtual space.
The work done by the US TradeHub, it's absolutely brilliant. Their processes for the past 4, 5, 6 years, the inroads that they've made by bringing various stakeholders together, and would definitely not have been possible if they weren't involved. And so we do have to applaud them on that.
We have a vision to overcome poverty in Southern Africa, and that's what we do. All of our work is geared towards that. Job creation, working with youth, working with women to help grow exports, because exports mean jobs, and jobs helps us to get rid of poverty in our region.
It's not just large companies that have benefited from the support of USAID TradeHub, it's also small companies which might be family owned by individuals, women-led companies, a whole cross-section of businesses that as a result of the training and support and various levels of capacity building have now been able to export into the US, not just as a one-off but on an ongoing basis.